This is My Time at Vision Street Research by Sebastian Vega, which is me. So, who am I and what do I do? Wait, can you guys see the little bar thing? Is that blocking anything? Like
No,
when I move it around?
we can see. I can see.
No, we can see it. You're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, who am I and what do I do? So, my name is Sebastian Vega. I graduated from Unionville High School and I'm now going to be going to Boston University to major in finance. And what do I do? This summer, I worked for Vision Street Research as a social media and research intern. So what I manage, social media and research. So with social media, I mainly create graphics and observe social media analytics. So anything that I'm assigned to do, it's usually social media related. And I would be making graphics based on whatever day it is of the week. So if I have a Workforce Wednesday post, I would be focusing on certain soft skills to be worked on or that we should be able to share with the youth. That's just one example. And also creating graphics for any guest speakers that try to teach our interns some certain soft skills and also hard skills like civic engagement and other stuff. And there's also research, which I would be researching local Black-owned businesses to give insight on them, on all of our social medias, and more. And this is an example of our guest speaker graphic. So it would be this and many other graphics that I would create and edit. And then these are the top three skills that not that I just learned, but I've also been able to hone and implement throughout my time at Vision Street. And one is time management. That one I'm slowly improving on, but it's not where I want to be yet. But I've gotten a start on it and I can further implement that into my future throughout college. So I really like how I'm going with my time management. Second would be communication, which I learned on the job, but I applied the most off the job. So I really learned about communication and situational awareness and emotional intelligence. And basically, that would be being aware of your audience and the message you're trying to communicate with them and being able to understand them and get your point across. And having that ability will give you power. And lastly is presenting, which is right in front of your eyes. So as you can see right now with my presenting, it's mostly me talking and not the slideshow just being lines and lines of text. And that's the point, that the slideshow is just a guide. It's not the star of the show. And three of my favorite key takeaways were from Retha Fernandez. If you could find a way to use your strengths to your services, you will bring joy to yourself and others. Jacob Dixon, the slideshow is not the star of the show, it's just a guide, as I was just saying. And Dexter Hedgepeth, your attire addresses your level of competence and puts you in a place to succeed. And finally, our Vision Street research. So I'm very thankful for the three other people in this photo, Mr. Spencer and Miss Erica Hill. They've brought me through so much and I'm really thankful for them because they really set me up for my future. And it's just something that I really want to be able to repay them in the future for. So I really appreciate them, which is you guys right here. Thank you so much.
For the time management, I know an early assignment was to pick the different apps. I know like you recorded a video about the different the 3 different apps you were going to try. And then like later on, I asked you to reflect on how well you thought you were doing. I'm just curious to know which of the apps, if any, like did you find like the most helpful in terms of improving your time management skills?
Oh, that would be Toggle. And that's because I had I had a prior usage with it and I was more accustomed to that. And I slowly felt progress as I was like completing assignments. So that was really like my main thing.
Okay, that's good. Toggle. I think Toggle will be helpful in some ways when you get to college, just because you will obviously have like different projects and being able to figure out like how much time you're taking on things, or and if you if you ever end up working for like a professor, and they're trying to figure out like how much time you're gonna need for stuff. I mean, what you see is like Toggle gives you a good sense. Like once you've done something and timed it, you could say, well, I could see it takes me about this many minutes to create a graphic. You know what I'm saying? So like you can set expectations appropriately so people are not asking you to do stuff and you know you don't have enough time for it. You know, just
Yeah.
how your schedule is set up.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think because you use Asana too, right? Do you
Yeah.
think that you would be able to use or apply your knowledge of Asana throughout your college career? Because like I'm really thinking about that conversation we had where I was just like, you know, where we were talking about time management and college and how that is critical, in managing your schedule, no matter how many things you get packed into it. Think that tool would be helpful or could be useful throughout your college career?
Yeah, because it makes me like isolate all and it like is a good list of things that I have, and it also you also see like very clear cut like the due dates and everything. And usually I would be like overwhelmed with assignments, but like with Asana, I can clearly see and pinpoint one thing after next, so I could do them one by one.
So the other thing I'm curious to know, because I feel like this situation this summer was obviously was a bit different from the first one. I mean, we were like in the beginning of a pandemic that we had no idea what was going to happen. I mean, yes, I know it's still going on, but I felt like when you and Danelle and William with me in 2020, everything was so new. People were afraid to kind of go outside, interact with people. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, how did you incorporate self-care? I know like I brought it up, I think twice in our chats, but I'm just curious since that was something that I really made a big deal about in 2020. And we started with that, right? We started with Sydney and Artsy about meditation. So I'm curious, how are you balancing, when we talk about time management, how are you balancing that with the work that you had to do for Vision Street and just whatever other things you needed to do?
So, I would wake up. The average day, I would wake up at about like 5:50,
Okay.
and I would go on a walk to my friend's house, which is like all the way. It's like a mile away.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
go on a walk there, and I would be with him for a bit because he would also be awake at that time. So
Okay.
I would be there, I would be with him for a bit, and then I would walk back and I would meet up with one of my other friends because he would have to drop his brother off at a bus stop because his
Okay.
brother had a camp. So then we would walk back to my house and he would stay here. And we would just chill while I worked. And it was just me being outside with some of my friends, like just going around places before work, and it would just make me really be awake
Okay.
and like, be able to function and communicate with other people.
Okay. That's good. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the whole, that's pretty early.
Yeah.
To be up consistently during the summer.
Yeah.
That is definitely an early start. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to know was in terms of teamwork, and I'm bringing this up because I know, when you get to college, you end up being put in teams that you don't get to pick yourself.
Mhm.
The professor kind of says like, you're gonna work with these people. It'll be some random way, and you have to just deal with whatever that may mean, right? Like if they're, maybe they don't have the same work ethic as you, whatever, a number of things. I'm just curious, like, how did you feel this summer, in comparison to like 2020, where I felt like it wasn't as much of a collaborative thing. How did you feel about this summer in terms of your teamwork skills and just being able to work with other people and communicate? Because you really had to, because there were so many. You had Mr. Spencer, you had Miss Janine, there was Danelle, there was me, but like it was a lot of different moving parts, and you could see that there were also dependencies on different people, in order to get
Yeah.
something done. So I'm just curious, what you thought about, how do you felt about that experience, and what did you get out of it?
Well, to be honest, it kind of felt like routine. Like
Okay.
it didn't really feel like I had to put effort into like making sure it was really teamwork. It didn't feel like teamwork because it just
Okay.
felt natural and like a routine.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure that made it easier. Um, and I guess the final thing for me, and then I'll let if Khadijah has any. For Khadijah, I'm gonna say if she has any words of wisdom as someone who's graduated college, and was an intern with me, her last year of college, actually. But the final question I wanted to know from you was about leadership. So, that was the final assignment. We had a guest speaker, Mr. Sergio Argueta, who talked about it as well. And obviously, like he's with Strong Youth. He's from, it's Uniondale Strong, which I purposely made sure there was some Uniondale love put in here. Since you're from Uniondale. But I'm just curious to know, where do you see yourself now in terms of your journey to leadership, either in your community or, what you want to do ultimately, once you graduate college?
Well, I do see myself coming back here as like an alumni and like having some kind of leadership role because I really like appreciate it and it just feels natural like to be part of this community, doing something involved with this community, like especially with my mom's help, like it's just grown accustomed to me. It's kind of natural. So I just always feel like I have to take upon that role.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm sure Daniel Lloyd from Minority Millennials would love to know that you said that, because that is a concern when people go away to college, especially I would say for Long Island. They didn't come back. I mean, I didn't come back for quite some time. So I think that that's really cool. And regardless of when you come back, right, you may not come right back after school. I think it's good that you have in your mind now that you'd like to make some sort of impact as an alumni in your local community and with your high school. So I would just say, hold on to that, because we need more people, like young people like you, that at least see value in that, if we're going to see any of the changes that we want to see in our communities. Like, we need people who value it and who come back with the new skills and expertise to be able to help other people accomplish that.